Hello and welcome back to the 1963 art channel. This current illustration is of a city called Halstatt, and it is a part of a series that I had made long time back, and I had already uploaded 2 videos recently where I talk about a few blunders that have happened over the course of these painting processes. I wouldn't quite call them blunders, but rather like evolution, in the sense when I look at my paintings now, if I had to review them now, I would see that I have improved on the techniques and I have sort of found out what I like to see on my paintings a little better. There were a total of about 8 to 10 pieces like I've mentioned in the previous videos, and if you want to see the framed versions, please visit my Instagram channel 1963_reinventing. I have to point out that this particular piece from the entire series happens to be one of my favorites. Why? Because first of all, the choice of colors. If you can see, the blue is very unique. It's sort of like a popping blue, which is quite the contrary to the colors that I pick. But I'm quite happy with the pick of pigment along with the blend of water. I believe that it just has the right amount of water and pigment that I would have ideally wanted on this paper, considering the quality of this paper, which again was something I had mentioned in my previous video. So I've started with the skyline, and at this point a little flaw would be how I still sort of overdid the sky, and part of the problem is also the brush that I was using at that point, the size of it. And yeah, basically I'm trying the whole flick technique, and so far it's just the blue and I'm not going back or messing with the colors. Typically I normally also introduce another color or two with the sky, which is a part of our palette, but here I'm simply just making the blue flow. I normally recommend you to have the paper already on a tilted desk, or if you could use a clipboard where the surface is already very tilted. It does not subject you to the hassle of tilting the page every time. Automatically with every stroke your pigment will be flowing downward, which sort of makes the painting sort of come together, considering the technique that I am promoting. So I guess now it's time for the green, which was the second color in this palette. Normally I do not directly go for the color straight out of the tubes. I sort of like to blend and make my own combinations. For example, even this blue is not a direct color from the tubes. This green was achieved by mixing sap green, a tint of black, titanium black, and a little proportion of brown, if I'm not wrong. So to ensure the infusion of the two colors, I have not blended them first together, but rather allowed the wet green pigment to get on top of the blue pigment, which is also very wet, and automatically it sort of creates a third color on the paper itself. So that is something I was going for. I just feel like I could have gone lighter with the green with like lesser pigments, but okay, all in all it's better than the previous pieces. So this constituted my first layer, and as I can see, I allowed it to dry up for a little while, and with the next layer basically I went a little darker with the black on the same green pigment, and I'm just dragging my brush roughly through the window areas, under the roofs and little corners of the streets, so that there's sort of like a depth created in the illustration. This picture basically uses just these two colors, and that's it. There is no third color that you will find. There was another series though where I taught you how to use a twist color, so you have to scroll back quite a little to go to some of the earliest videos of my playlist, where you will see how I introduced the idea of a twist color in a monochromatic color palette. So I guess once this part is complete, it's pretty much the end of this painting, and that's why I call this series under 5-minute watercolor painting processes of cityscapes and urbanscapes. And it's literally quite easy to acquire a very beautifully done painting with a very abstract look, and at the same time have some accurate but not so accurate details of the city that you've picked. Even while illustrating, when I pick a certain cityscape, I normally use a very fine tip doodle pen, and I try not to be strict about the definitions and the overall illustration and outline of the city. I try to create like a rough outline, not too detailed about it. And eventually, either after the complete use of the fine tip pen, I use a thicker nib doodle pen, or maybe sometimes even after the painting, if I feel like the color has sort of restricted the visibility of the doodle pens, then I just run my thicker or lighter pen over all the lines, outlines once again. So yes, that completes the painting, and I guess the only part now left is to watch it after it has dried up. And I am actually sort of impressed with this piece, and unfortunately you will be surprised to know that this piece did not sell. It's very often that I've found that my sense of aesthetics and the things that I end up liking from a particular series does not sell well, but rather people have their own likings, and sometimes the pieces that I like the least sell the fastest. So once it dries down, I also put a mount around it and eventually frame it with a cream color wooden textured frame. This is a 6x6 inches watercolor piece. So this was the last piece remaining from the entire series that was meant to be uploaded. And if you think you enjoyed my reviewing, please hit the like button and share the videos with some of your friends who you believe are art enthusiasts or who need art therapy. I believe this could really help them out, and please leave your thoughts in the comments section. I would really appreciate and like to know what you think about my art pieces. And if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I am trying to be very regular now.